What's up everyone, my name is Speedstreak and welcome to Sonic the Hedgehog. You can actually buy this game off of Steam for about $5, as well as some of the other classic Sonic games, including Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic 3D Blast, and Sonic Spinball. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the most outstanding video game characters of all time. I mean, he's been breaking the sound barrier for over 25 years. I mean, way past the sound barrier. Despite some of his games having some flaws and ups and downs, the Sonic the Hedgehog series is still one of the best. Interestingly enough, both Sonic and Sega have a history together, and you can read this from the book History of Sonic the Hedgehog, which I believe was released in 2012. Not only can you read about their history, but you can also read about the characters, the Sonic games, and interviews with Yuji Naka, Takashi Iizuka, and Naoto Oshima. Anyways, both Sonic's roots and Sega's roots took place all the way back in the 1940s in Honolulu, Hawaii. Sega was originally started by 3 Americans who were inspired by the idea of entertaining the soldiers there with some jukeboxes, some one-armed bandit toys, and pinball machines. But Sega did not officially become a company until the 1960s. By then, it was relocated in Tokyo, Japan, and its original logo was, interestingly enough, red. From the 1960s to the 1970s, Sega evolved from a mechanical game company to an official video game company, and it was in 1976 that Sega changed its logo from red to the iconic azure blue that we all know and love today. And from the 1970s to the early 1980s, Sega, along with many other video game companies, prospered. But unfortunately in 1983 there came a terrible crisis for video game companies. I mean, inflation became so bad that many companies lost a lot of money. But, fortunately, Sega and many other companies recovered. And it was in the late 1980s that Sega discovered a new rival, Nintendo, which at the time was gaining a lot of popularity because of the new Super Mario Bros. Games. And this was when Sega realized that they needed a new mascot, because their original mascot, Alex Kidd, was a bit too much like Mario, except for the whole Rochambeau, aka rock paper scissors battles. Not only that, but Sega needed a new game to show the true power of their newest next-gen console of the time, the Sega Genesis, aka the Sega Mega Drive, which came with blast processing. Sega! Anyways, thus Sega began working on the concepts, and among these included a bulldog, a wolf, and a certain looking man with a particular looking mustache, which will later be known as Dr. Ivo Robotnik, aka Dr. Eggman. But none of these concepts made the cut. But a certain Sega employee, Naoto Oshima, brought forth a bunny concept which actually looked promising to Sega. When the Sega officials saw it, they're like, this looks good. Let's team you up with a programmer. And they teamed him up with none other than Yuji Naka, Sonic's most famous father. Ever since he was young, Yuji Naka had a fascination for speed. And he was a very talented programmer. When he joined Sega in the mid-80s, he worked on some other Sega projects. I remember, I think one of them was Outrun, I guess? Yeah, I think that was it. But when he worked on the port for Capcom's game, Ghouls and Ghosts for the Sega Genesis, Yuji Naka thought of this. Why not make side-scrolling games faster? That way, players will not only have a lot more fun, but they can go from one end of the level to the other end in a shorter amount of time. And that's how Yuji Naka found the program for fast, side-scrolling action. I remember reading from the book History of Sonic the Hedgehog that Yuji Naka said, if it weren't for Ghouls and Ghosts, Sonic the Hedgehog wouldn't have existed. on, just let me get to the Chaos Emerald and not into the goals. Thank you. Anyways, after Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima teamed up, they were given the project Defeat Mario! Thus, they began working on the bunny concept, but soon some problems came awry. One, they discovered that the bunny concept was a bit difficult to program for the Sega Genesis. And two, they originally planned to use the bunny's ears to pick up objects and throw at enemies. But, for a fast side-scrolling action game, that ruined the rhythm. So, the concept was dropped. And this was the time they brought forth a new member to the team, Hirokazu Yashiro. It was actually Yashiro who said, instead of 2 buttons to pick up objects and throw at enemies, why not use 1 button to jump and attack at the same time? Oh, and while we're at it, why not let our character roll into a ball as he attacks? And this piqued the interest of his fellow team members. Soon they came across 2 other animals, an armadillo and a hedgehog. At first the team leaned a bit toward the armadillo, but then they realized that the armadillo can only use its body as a defense mechanism. But the hedgehog, on the other hand, can not only defend, but can also attack with its quills. And everyone agreed that the hedgehog was the right choice. And this was when Naoto Oshima remembered an old sketch of a hedgehog he made called Mr. Harinazumi, or Mr. Needle Mouse as we know him today. When he showed the sketch to his fellow team members, they fell in love. After the character was given a redesign, a blue color scheme, and some red and white sneakers which were based off of Michael Jackson's Bad Album shoes, and Santa Claus's color scheme, the new character's name was Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. Originally it was supposed to be Super Sonic, but Sonic the Hedgehog had a bit more of a ring to it. After the team got their character, they began calling themselves Sonic Team. Thus, they began working on some scenarios for their new mascot. One of the original scenarios was that Sonic originally had a human girlfriend named Madonna, who was, obviously enough, based off the American singer Madonna. And they originally planned to put Sonic in a rock band along with some other animals, including a monkey, a chicken, a bunny, and a crocodile, which would later become known as Vector the Crocodile. But when they presented this proposal to Sega of America, Sega of America was like, no, this is not gonna work. Besides, Sonic and Madonna are a bit too much like Mario and Peach. So, the concept was dropped, along with the rock band, which was thought to be unnecessary. And even Sega of America toned Sonic down a bit. And it's actually almost caused a rift between the 2 branches. Fortunately, they resolved their differences and gave Sonic a new scenario. To use his lightning speed to save the animals which have been roboticized by the evil Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Not only must Sonic stop the Eggman from turning the world into his evil robotic empire, but he also must stop him from obtaining the Chaos Emeralds, which contain unlimited power. Now that is a concept for a video game. Thus, Sonic Team wasted no time and started working. Naoto Oshima worked on some of the enemy artwork design, and Hirokazu Yashiro worked on the level design, which actually took a really long time. It took a long time for them to find the right artwork for each level, especially Green Hills, which took months and months and months of redesign. That was a close one, or else I would have been crushed. But Yuji Naka did the most important part, the programming. I remember from a video called Sonic Birth of an Icon that 2D games before Sonic at the time usually were made of blocks. But when Yuji Naka was making Sonic, he found a way to make smooth maps. He also added some loop-de-loops as well. When the team was making Sonic's gameplay, they realized that some of them had different perspectives of Sonic's speed. Actually, some of them thought that Sonic was going too fast, that it actually made them quite sick. But soon, they fixed that and found the speed for everyone to agree upon for Sonic. And for the music, they brought forth Masato Nakamura, the leader of Dreams Come True. And what Masato Nakamura did was an outstanding job. He actually used computer music, which was a fascination in the 90s. Uh-oh. That was a close one. And despite it being a bit difficult, Masato Nakamura got through thanks to the knowledge of computers and music. He did a phenomenal job. He actually took inspiration from each of the level design, and they were perfect. I almost remembered from Sonic Birth of an Icon, which I almost forgot to tell you was released for Sonic's 20th anniversary, that Masato Nakamura said that while he was making Sonic's music, he thought of Sonic not as a video game, but as a film, which was actually pretty true because video games are like movies, except for the bit more interaction in them. After Sonic's music was complete, only the opening remained. Originally, Sega planned to put Sonic and Madonna in the opening, but since that concept was dropped, they decided to put the most famous Sega opening ever, the Sega Chorus opening. And that would forever be in our memories every time we upload a classic Sonic game. Sega! After Sonic's game was complete, whoa, that was way too close. As I was saying, he was later presented at the CES convention, which was almost like E3, except E3 didn't exist at the time. And he was also shown alongside the new Super Mario Bros. World game. And from what people saw, they had an outstanding experience. Not only did Sonic look a lot better than Mario, but people realized that Sonic was cooler, faster, and a lot more fun. Okay, I'm almost at the Chaos Emerald. Oh, just stop rotating in Special Zone. I mean, I know you're supposed to rotate. Okay, almost there. Crap! So close, so close. And I better not get into the goals. I better not get into the goals. I keep telling myself to not get into the goals, but Sonic wants to get into the goals. Actually, the bumpers want him to get into the goals. There we go. And on June 23rd, 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog was officially released. Alright then, that's all the time I have for today, so thank you everyone so much for watching. I'm going to continue talking about Sonic's history in the next video, and I'll also talk about Sonic's 25th anniversary live stream, and about my opinions about it, despite the fact that it's been a month since that aired. So, thank you everyone so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Speedstreak out.